Oh, I hope everybody got their notifications. We're going live now. Let me tell you something. I had to start this way because we got a couple things we're going to get into. We're going to get into Kohberger messaging these victims before this whole situation happened, the murders. And then we're going to get into that exclusive interview with Daniel de la Rosa and the Mexican reporter Gerardo Zuniga. He just dropped it right now. Everybody get in here. Let me hit this intro because we're about to get started right now. And make sure you hit that like button. Let's go. Yeah, what an interesting develop. There's been a lot of interesting developments. Oh my God, look at the hair. Look at the hair, guys. I just kind of put it on. Anyways, Jalen is a member. Shout out to Jalen. Let me shout out all my beautiful members who help me keep the lights on here at Down the Rabbit Hole News. I am the Rabbit for those that don't know me. Shout out to you. And if you like our channel, please consider supporting. And that's okay with the view, with the especially with the likes, guys. Don't be stingy with these likes. That's all I ask for. Please, please, it doesn't take long to just hit that like button and show me some love. Hit the like button, it helps with the algorithm. All right, let me shout out these beautiful members. Jaylin 513, Peekaboo, Daisy Girl, Cash H, Cash. Vic was first on the chat this time. Shout out to Vic. Vic was first. But thank you so much. Shout out to you for always supporting this channel. Slayer Selection, Peekaboo's in the house. Michelle Diaz, you became a member. Welcome. Generally Jenny, shout out to you, Generally Jenny. Let's see, Daisy Girl. Yes, you smash that like button. Smash it like nobody else has. Period. Karma is a big, and I'm Karma. Shout out to Karma. Lady Webb's my mod. Yes. Let me see who else I have in the house. Bobby. Shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Bobby in the house. Let's see who else. Ebony Ice, thank you so much. Ebony has been a member for a very long time. Shout out to Ebony. Yes, you guys, thank you. You smashed it. You better smash it. Smash it like you're mad at that like button. Hi, Clem. Welcome. Welcome. Oh, says hi, Revit and everyone. I love it when you do lives later in the day. This way I don't miss them while I'm at work. I try to do a little combination of both. Hey, Miss Clover, a little bit of both. Some one in the morning, and then I might do three in one day or four sometimes. It just depends on what's going on, what's up, what's the deal. But that's what I tend to do. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. I'm here too. The coolest intro. Oh, thank you. Guys, people really complain about my intro on YouTube, but I don't give a crap. I like my intro. I like the song. I like the news atmosphere. Yeah, thank you. Oh, thank you guys. Shout out to everybody from Jersey. All right, guys, we're gonna hit this ground running, and I've made the executive decision Hey, Queen Bella, thank you. I saw that. They're still trying to determine if those are her remains. Baby girl Athena, okay. And then you have the Ann Walsh's husband, who has been charged with murder, okay. Uh, Finally, thank you guys. Yes, hey Manny, welcome, welcome. Shout out to Manny behind the mic. Check out his channel, guys. Yes, and where are you from? Drop the flag. Drop the flag. I wish we had like, you know, different. I don't know whether it's the flag or maybe it's the state. What is it? Symbol, like depending on what state you're from. Maybe it's a margarita. I don't know, but just drop something in the chat. It helps with the engagement. Hey, is it Cadillac? I want to say Cadillac. Cadillac because I like Cadillac. How are you? Thank you for becoming a member. No matter what time. Oh, thank you, Clem. We gonna hit this ground running because we got some stuff to get into before we get into this interview that was just dropped today. Chico is in the house. Had to come to a Jesus meeting with my dogs, and now they're locked up. My girl has separation anxiety, so she tears up my house. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, sorry about that. My dog has separation anxiety as well, and I hate it too. It ruins everything. It really does. Okay, we're gonna get started right away. So this was dropped a couple hours ago. It's actually dropped by People Magazine before the New York Post and everybody else been talking about it. But the Idaho suspect Brian Kohberger, just so everybody's aware, repeatedly messaged victims week before the murders report. Accused University of Idaho killer Brian Kohberger slid into one of the girls' direct messages on Instagram just weeks before the four students were killed in their beds. A report said Tuesday. An Instagram account that belonged to Kohberger repeatedly sent IG messages to one of the college students found dead, but she never returned his advances, an investigator close to the case told People. He slid into the girl's DMs several times, but she didn't respond. The anonymous source said basically it was just him saying, "Hey, how are you?" But he did it again and again. The messages were reportedly sent in October. University of Idaho students Kaylee, Madison, Zaina, and Ethan were found stabbed to death. As we all know, this tragic situation on November 13th. The source did not disclose which of the girls Kohberger messaged. Hey, Nana, welcome. Um, so we don't know which girl it was that he messaged. The suspect followed accounts for all three girls on the social media platform. Now, you guys remember a couple weeks ago? Okay, let's go back a couple weeks ago where people were creating fake pages with Brian Kohberger's face and actually following some of these pages. I don't know if they were able to wean those off or what. I sure as hell hope that they finally confirm this. Okay, but that being said, this gives a new meaning to the situation. This was a targeted attack. Like he knew the victims. He'd been watching the victims for quite some time and he was messaging the victims. Mm-mm-mm. It kind of makes you wonder if they kind of, whoever it was, foresaw some of this happening. I don't know. You guys let me know in the chats about what you think in terms of this situation and where you land. So, the messages from Kohberger's account were sent around the same time that detective claimed the suspect was stalking the victims. His cell phone data pinged in the same location as the four students in the weeks before the murders. Kohberger, who was pursuing a criminology doctorate at Washington State University, 10 miles away from the University of Idaho, has been charged with 4 counts of first degree murder and a count of felony burglary in the gruesome quadruple homicide. Authorities aren't completely sure why the victims didn't respond to Kohberger. I mean, how old isn't Kohberger a lot older than these victims? These victims are like what, early 20s? How old is Kohberger? Because I'm thinking these victims are like early 20s. Yeah, thank you, Lady Webbs. The math is not mathing, people. Hit the like button. Make the math today, right now. He messaged them, but there was no back and forth. They were on ignored. So Kohberger's 28, and the victims were early 20s. No. Why does Kohberger look so older than what he looks like? It was a 7-year difference. He just looks so much older than the victims? Like, I don't know. He just, when I see him, maybe it was his weight loss picture that made him look a lot older. It's just weird. But hey, authorities aren't completely sure why the victims didn't respond repeated messages, but said it could be simply because she hadn't noticed them. I mean, I have messages sometimes that I'm like, I don't know if I should answer because I don't know if it's like advertisement. People reach out to you all the time, and I leave them on read a lot. Okay, that's how I do. So she may not have seen them because they went into message requests, the source said, implying that the victim didn't follow Kohberger back on Instagram. We're still trying to determine how aware the victims were of his existence. Wow. Wow. It is not yet clear if the girl's unresponsiveness was a motive for the murder, says the source. There's no indication that he was getting frustrated with her lack of response, the source says, but he was definitely persistent. Kohberger's unyielding attempt to reach his victims could be a symptom of an incel complex. You guys remember we talked about incels here? We talked about that. Remember that. We want to talk about that later on. Incel complex. You know, these terms are being thrown around now, so we gotta pay attention. A former FBI investigator believes he suffered. Now, who is the former FBI investigator that's throwing this out there? Isn't it oh my gosh, is it Coffindaffer? Jennifer Coffindaffer? Because I know she's been heavy on these messages, reassuring the public that these are from Kohberger. And I'm a little like, how do we can we determine more than just assumptions? I'm just saying. The murders may have been an effort to assert some type of dominance. Expert security Pete told the Post this week. All right. I believe a continued stabbing of a victim indicates an uncontrollable rage and extreme anger. Well, no shit. I think a lot of us would think the same. I think he may have developed some sort of incel complex. I know everybody's going to be Googling incel complex. Feel free to Google incel complex because I don't even know what the hell that means. Incel complex. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, I know what an incel means, but what does incel complex mean? And now it's all over Google. People are searching this term now. Not just incel complex. I don't know. Are you guys ready to move on to the next topic? Yeah. So Inquisitive says the incel think of recent seems so an umbrella and inclusive. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Are you guys ready to move on to the next? Let me know. This right here is very creepy in my opinion. I think that definitely gives a new meaning to the whole targeted thing, right? Like we know that. But I mean, I think it still probably needs to be investigated and kind of go about how deep all this was going. You guys let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I can't even say this word. Thank you, Shelly. Example, so incel complex is a condition. I bet half of you guys are going to go check your DMs right now and see who you have on read or you haven't responded yet. I'm about to go do that today. You just never know. Yes, please hit the like button, guys. Thank you so much. Let's move on to our next topic because this is where I really want to focus my time tonight. Gerardo Zuniga dropped the exclusive interview with the attorney, all right, by the name of Daniel de la Rosa Anaya. We talked a lot about Daniel de la Rosa Anaya here. Danny Robertson has as well. Shout out to her. Um, it's a lot that was dropped. So this is what I understand. There's going to be a two-parter or three-parter to this interview part thingy. He's going to drop it in pieces. He just dropped the first part today. He had the interview with the attorney that has done the legwork to request this, for the person to be extradited, basically. Now, who is the person that's going to be extradited? We don't know, but a lot of us can assume it, as well as myself. I'm assuming we're talking about Dejane, right? Right? Welcome, Rico. I mean, what do you guys think? So he dropped a lot. The interview itself is in Spanish. There's some subtitles. It was a lot of people were having a hard time reading it, so was I. It just seemed kind of like I couldn't really read it. Maybe it was just the and I'm gonna try to go and again, this is under fair use. He had the interview. I kind of appreciated that he gave kind of like a heads up of the questions that he asked, and they were pretty good questions that he asked in terms of like what we want to know and everything. I'm going to go to this last part because I feel like this is the last part that's most important, and we're going to review this under fair use. Thank you so much. 199. Thank you, Miss Daly. She says hit the like button and show your support for the rabbit. Thank you, my love. Shrinking Sharon in the house. Shout out to Shrinking Sharon who's in here as well. Hey Lily, welcome. So the let me say it this way. The investigation part sounds very complex even in listening to it, and it's like, well, how do you even translate all of this? So I appreciated that they had like the little like sit down and you had the translator ask the questions and say it in Spanish. It helps out. It helps out. Thank you for the thanks, Sean. You're funny. You went. Deborah says I went to Los Cabos, Mexico newscast and other areas. If they truly investigating and hashtag Danny Robertson, it's a lot. Who's dragging their feet? Mexico, Patty. Shout out to Patty. Who do you guys Who do you guys think is dragging their feet at this point? Is it Mexico? Matter of fact, why don't we allow that to be a survey question today? Let's do that. I'm kind of curious to know. What do you guys think right now? Who is dragging their feet today in this situation? Now, you guys, we've been hounding on Mexico. Mexico. Mexico's not doing this. Mexico's corrupt. And I don't disagree. But here's the question. Who is dragging their feet today? Who's dragging their feet? Mexico or the US? The USA. Mexico. The USA. I'm going to add another option. I am not sure yet. Talked about this today. Okay, we dropped a video today, and I can upload that video again if it helps as well, because I have it actually right available here, right?
Overdosed or was drunk comes back where there was
Let
some
me pause this real quick because we're going to watch that in a little bit. We know the feds won't be moving till they have a solid case. They are building the case. FBI is on it. Trust me. Okay. U.S. Mexico can't just they can't just come and grab somebody. Mexico can't just come and grab somebody, right? That was part of the issue when we heard about an arrest with Dejeuner, because we knew that they just can't go and grab somebody, right? We were aware of that. Where's the poll at? Where are you guys at? Let me see. Where's the people's at right now? 5% still say, 7% still say Mexico. 75% is saying USA. Remember, guys, this weekend there was a huge press conference, big one, where they talked about crime specifically. And the attorney specifically said that they have been doing their process. They spoke about impunity. They talked about the fact that they have done everything and they're working along and they're waiting, and that's the process. That it's a waiting game, right? But while Mexico has done what they have done, this morning we talked about the US, the North Carolina FBI office. Where are they at? Because they also have to do their independent investigation, right? I mean, I got 51 votes in here. Let me know your thoughts and make sure you hit that like button. This is a conversation, guys. We are conversating about this issue. Let me know what you guys think. Deborah says she has to say both Mexico and the US. Ooh, wee. You don't mind that? Lady Webb says, look, I don't mind that the US is taking their time. They're probably going to try to get them in the US. This would be a big win for them. What does, remember, Mexico doesn't have the death penalty. So if we were looking for the death penalty, then those that are wanting to try it here in the US would make sense. If that's what people are wanting, right? I don't know. I don't know. FBI has intervention capabilities, and they have been in the past charged those who have killed in foreign soil. Yeah. Let's talk about this exclusive interview that Zuniga just dropped, okay? And I want to go straight to, like I said, because it's just so heavy with information. Let's see. I'm gonna start right here. Let's see. I think this is right when they transitioned over.
Entonces, en ese sentido.
Here we go. And let me put my little beautiful banner up here.
Bueno, hasta aquí la primera parte de la entrevista. En esta entrevista, el procurador Daniel de la Rosa Anaya habló con palabras muy técnicas del caso, por lo que nos gustaría resumir de manera general con palabras más comunes o más amigables sobre lo que dijo.
Yes. There is a delay in the translation. I don't know if they've noticed this. Maybe they're just having issues with it. But basically, they did a little like a summary of what was said in that conversation in there. So they're wanting to translate it in a way in which it's a little bit more of a, you know, user-friendly words, legal terminology that's a little bit friendly and easier to understand. You guys got to understand, you have legal terminology in itself, it's its own language. Now you have Spanish, and then you have Spanish legal terminology. I mean, that's a whole I'm like, I don't know. I was having a hard time with the medical stuff. Just imagine. Now the Spanish legal stuff is a whole different monster.
Up to now, this is the end of the first part of the interview. During this interview, Attorney General Daniel de la Rosa Anaya spoke with very technical words about the case. So we would like to summarize in a general way with more common or friendlier translation.
En la primera pregunta sobre qué fue lo que pasó, respondió que el caso está en proceso de investigación y el avance hasta el momento es haber logrado la primera orden de un juez para detener y extraditar a la responsable de la agresión física de Shanquella Robinson.
Now here, Gerardo's saying, you know, they've done a lot. They've done, and there's going to be a translator will probably fill in whatever I miss, but they have done some advancements in terms of what needed to be done. But the one thing that he said here, and I think a lot of us are assuming here, we're assuming, and I would assume the same too, because I saw that video like everybody else here. Speaking about the person who was the aggressor there, I think it's Dejeuner. It looks like Dejeuner. Okay, it's blurry, but he's definitely speaking like it's Dejeuner. Can you move the mic? You're coming through raspy and a little loud. Okay, thank you. It talks baby girl. Can you hear me better? Let me know. Is it still raspy? Because the mic was right in front of me. Maybe I need to move it down. Let me know. It talks baby girl. You speak Spanish too, and I'm having a hard time with the legal terms. It's hard. The legal terms are hard for sure. Let me know, guys. Can you guys hear me? I don't sound too raspy. I don't want to sound like a. Okay, perfect. I don't want to joke about the Backstreet Boy, but I don't want to sound like a Backstreet Boy. What was I going to say? So the way in which he's referencing the person here about the extradition, he's referencing her as in a female, and we don't have a name yet. We don't have a name yet. Does it? I bet it does. I don't know. Mexico has no death penalty, but they have their own little prison justice for sure. Inside and out. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. We don't know. So if Mexico has filed probable cause affidavit with the U.S. for extradition, are those records open to the public, Patty? I don't think so, and I wish. And I wish nothing has been open yet to the public as far as where they're at. He did say something about police processing the house. In terms of who has the death penalty, there's no way out. Rabbit is a channel. It did a consult with an attorney, and he said that yep, thank you for Yep. That's right. Grateful for those novela watchings because I understand the terms of LOL La Reina. You guys are stop it. You guys are bringing novelas in here. But anyways, the way in which he's referencing this, he's talking about this is a female, but we don't really know because there hasn't been anything released to say that. We're assuming it's a female at this point. I don't know, and I've assumed that as well, so I'm guilty of it.
The first question I asked was, what happened? He replied that the case is under investigation. The results so far are that an order from a judge to arrest and extradite the person responsible for the physical aggression of Shanquella Robinson has been issued.
Confirmó lo que ya habíamos dicho aquí, que las personas que estaban con Shanquella Robinson reportaron a los números de emergencia una muerte accidental. Sin embargo, dijo que cuando la Procuraduría de Justicia abrió la carpeta de investigación, después de que Shanquella Robinson fue declarada muerta y se obtiene el resultado de la autopsia, descubren que tiene una lesión cervical en la parte del cuello.
One of the biggest and important points here and even listening to this now, is that before the video went viral, listen to this shit, okay? And I'm playing with these Uno cards as I'm talking to you guys. Before the video went viral, they were already investigating because they had misreported her death, right? They meaning the Cabo 6, the medical staff, whoever was in there, right? And they were saying they, right? But they could be inclusive of the Cabo 6, that could be the doctor, those could be the paramedics, whoever was in charge of that, right? The Mexican authorities were already reporting, investigating this death because of what the first report was. Now here they are, right? Looking at this like the carpet of, they call it the carpet of investigation, which is kind of like, the whatever the file of investigation looked like. There was a misreporting of it, right? They had done her autopsy and then the video went viral later on. What they had reported as her death, they had done the autopsy and the autopsy is not matching. It's not matching. It's not matching. Alcohol poisoning is not matching to what the autopsy was saying. So they were looking at this already before the video went viral. Just saying, guys. Interesting. Let's keep watching.
This confirmed what we had already said here before, that the people who were with Shanquella reported an accidental death to the emergency numbers. However, he said that when the Attorney General opens the investigation folder after Shanquella Robinson was declared dead and the results of the autopsy were obtained, they discovered that the cause of death was a cervical and neck injury.
En la segunda pregunta le comenté que en Estados Unidos había mucha polémica por la información contradictoria. Lo que reportaron los cabos 6 al 911 de que había sido una muerte accidental y lo que decía el resultado de la autopsia que era una lesión cervical.
The misinformation and the misreporting, right? So when the Cabo 6 spoke to the family, to people, okay, they talked about when they went on social media, Nazir specifically, right? They gave a lot of misinformation about how the way in which Shanquella died, the fact that she was killed. They did. And so one of the questions was catered and geared towards the misinformation, the conspiracy and the scandal that it caused here in America, as far as all of this misinformation that was given by the Cabo 6. It was in their best interest, and I'm just going to say this. Had this not been looked into further, had people not asked questions, had the video not gone viral, what would have happened? This would have been like the perfect murder, right? what would have happened? These people would have continued on with their jobs. They would have carried on. They wouldn't have give a shit. They would have gone on. The fake friends, right? You had these bloggers that came out, talked about Shanquella Robinson had an accident, therefore the accident could have been the cause of her death. The Cabo Six are being set up. All this bullshit that comes about, right? I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat about this? Let's keep watching.
My second question was, in the United States, there's a lot of controversy over the contradiction information reported. What the Cabo Six reported to 911 was that it had been an accidental death. And what the results of the autopsy were was that it was a cervical and neck injury.
Él comentó que efectivamente primero se reportó una muerte accidental al 911 y que cuando la Procuraduría de Justicia toma la investigación, antes de la divulgación inclusive del video que se hizo viral, ellos ya estaban investigando un posible crimen por el resultado de la autopsia. Siguiendo todos los protocolos del feminicidio, comentó que cuando inclusive toman la investigación, los acompañantes de Shanquella Robinson se van rápidamente del hotel y al día siguiente salen del aeropuerto de San José del Cabo hacia Estados Unidos.
So, the Mexican authorities were already investigating a mysterious death in this situation, right? Because they misinformed one party and then the other party misinforms. Like, it's just crazy, right? So what he's saying here, they were already investigating a crime to a certain degree. The authorities were, given the fact that, what was found, okay, during the examination of the body and all that other stuff wasn't exactly what matched before. Not only that, they fled. Did nobody stay next to, I just don't get it. Yes, there's going to be 3 parts, and I don't get it. Like, if my friend dies and we're on vacation, I'm not leaving. I'm gonna be right next to my friend, because guess what? She was alive when we left. Okay? I have to be next to her. Right? It's crazy. The dude Nazir said, this is bigger than what y'all think. So I feel like it was premeditated. Right, Rico? But like, Nazir, all these people right here, they know more. They're just not saying. And when I talked to the attorney Dimitri, who has done extraditions, hey, Leslie, who has done extraditions, listen, they've probably already been talking to attorneys. If the North Carolina FBI office is on this right now, it is very likely, very, very likely that they're already on this ish, right? And so I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't talk to an FBI agent without an attorney, even if I'm not guilty of anything, because hell, the FBI is the FBI. It's the motherfucking FBI. You don't just talk to any FBI. You get yourself an attorney. What did attorney Dimitri say? I said, one of the questions that I asked him, let me pretend that I'm being extradited. The FBI is calling me. What did attorney Dimitri say? He said, get yourself an attorney. That's what you do. Guilty or not. Don't play with this, please. Don't. I mean, listen, I don't want to misinform, but I feel like this is a huge thing. You're talking about prison time. You're talking about international. You're talking about extradition, guys. This is not a joke. It's bigger than the government officials were involved in the cover up, in my opinion. And a lot of people are saying that too. We come together, we leave together. That's what you do as a friend. I don't know about you guys, even when you go out and you party and you drink, you don't just leave your friends by themselves. And it amazes me, even this generation that doesn't really know that too. Like, you don't leave your friend intoxicated by themselves, okay? Like, either one of them got to be sober or something has to happen here, right? The police ain't your friend when you have, thank you, Vic. Shout out to Vic, who was first in the room and who said hit the like button. The police ain't your friend when you have you in an interrogation room. No. No. Absolutely not. We're living in a generation, in an era that if you have children of your own, you need to tell your children that if they're ever apprehended, and it's no shade, because I do believe that police are very important in our community, FBI, all these people are important. Don't get me wrong. But we're living in an environment, in a society where you have to make sure you tell your kids that if you're stopped by a police officer, you're not allowed to talk. You say, listen, I can't talk to you unless my attorney or my parent is present. I need to see an attorney. Even if they give you a hard time about it, I don't give a shit. They have a job and I have a person to protect. Say lawyer one time and don't let them mess you up anymore. So, that being said, that is what Attorney Dimitri told us right here. He said, if you're playing the devil's advocate, let's just say I'm one of the Cabo Six, okay? I'm one of the, for whatever reason, and they're calling me and they're looking for me. I'm not talking to the media anymore. I've already talked to my attorney. My attorney can handle all these other questions. My attorney can come with me to the meetings and the interrogation with the FBI. So I'm assuming at this point, now I'm going to make an assumption here. I don't have any receipts for this. But my assumption is that they probably have already talked to a legal expert at this point and have probably taken those precautions because they know what the hell is going on. And that's why they're mute. That's why they're quiet. I would. Thank you. Yeah, you hold your friend's hair back when she's puking in that toilet. Don't you forget that. Thank you. Shout out to all those people that can do that. All right. Anyways, let's move on.
He replied that indeed an accidental death was first reported to 911, and that when the Attorney General's office took the investigation, before the video that went viral was released, they were already investigating a possible crime due to the result of the autopsy. The protocol of femicide was immediately put in place. He stated that when the investigation into Shanquella Robinson begins, her companions leave the villas immediately. And the next day, they leave San Jose del Cabo Airport for the United States.
Thing I want to point out here, guys, another thing, absolutely, you can consult with the lawyer. Shout out to Infamous. Another thing I want to point out here is how often in America, big cases, let's just say Idaho 4, okay? Idaho 4 has their defense attorneys, Brian Kohberger, he's working with his defense attorney. How often are you going to see, whether it's the district attorney or the defense, sit down in an interview with media, with the journalists? This is Mexico. I'm telling you, we do things a little bit different in Mexico. Rarely, this is exclusive because you're not going to see this man sit down with another person from media, YouTube or not. Maybe he will. I don't know. Never. Thank you. Why? Why don't we ever see that? Because it could compromise the case, right? We just don't see that. We don't see that often. This is an exclusive. You're not going to see Daniel de la Rosa, Anaya sit down with another press source and give an exclusive interview. This is an exclusive. Does not happen. Absolutely. It doesn't. Mexico does things different. They do things different. So they're giving us a good little sneak peek into this case. I'm telling you, in true, you just don't see this. You don't see this. I think they do. I think they do, Rico, in Mexico. That's why these Cabo Sixes, they're like 666. Whoever gave them that name, I swear, that's a great name to give them because that's what they are. They're very quiet and they know more. They know more. But let's keep watching.
La tercera pregunta que le hice fue ¿por qué la policía no detuvo en ese momento a ninguno de los cabos 6. Algo que ha generado muchas dudas en Estados Unidos, y me comentó que porque en ese momento la única información que había antes de la autopsia era que se trataba de una muerte accidental, dicho por los acompañantes de Shanquella Robinson y la doctora.
The third question I asked him was, why didn't the police arrest any of the Cabo Six at the time that they answered the emergency call? And he explained to me that this generated many doubts for the American people. His reply was that at the time, the only information they had was that it was an accidental death. This was before the autopsy was conducted, and this is what Shanquella Robinson's friends said to the police and to the doctor.
Entonces, la cuarta pregunta, cuestioné que si me estaba tratando de decir que en ese momento, o sea, antes de trasladar el cuerpo de Shanquella Robinson, el cuerpo sin vida de Shanquella Robinson, no tenían pruebas de que había sido asesinada. Y me dijo que efectivamente en ese momento no había pruebas.
So at that moment, what happened with Shanquella, they did not have any proof that she had been killed, right? So when people ask why weren't they detained, they did not have anything to say, well, she had been killed, right? You had the French statements, and then not only that, then you had these lackluster medical, doctor who failed at her job right then and there. I'm assuming that, the fight that she would have had some bruising. We don't know how many hours she had been dead. We're assuming, well, she died 15 minutes after, but we don't the timeline of events, as much as YouTubers want to go back and draw a timeline, it is a very hard thing to do even now. Right? So keeping that in mind, Infamous says, can we vet? We don't need to vet him because he is an attorney from Mexico. He's from the State Department. He is an attorney from the State Department. Daniel de la Rosa is. So he has his studies, he has his degree. You guys can search him up. Look in his background. The man is an attorney, and he's specifically into looking into crimes and stuff like that. That is his area. I mean, that's what he does. So yeah, I'm talking in regards to the police. They had showed up, like you said, they do things different. They do things different, but we don't know to what extent. There's just so much conflicting information, right? And even then, I'm trying to figure out, like, what can we get? Because now we have an interview where he actually sat down with the attorney, but I'm also trying to figure out what else is there out there that can't be vetted. And it's very hard. Number one, everything's international. Number two, as you can see, the man can sit down with the attorney and have an interview, whereas here in the US, you don't see that. You wouldn't see that. So what this means for the case, I really don't know. It's just different. Yeah, and there were visible injuries to her head and face. No way they could have not seen that. Absolutely, Peekaboo. I'm sorry. No excuse to look into things a bit more. And this is why when they said impunity, yeah, he's the attorney general. Thank you. When they say impunity, they're looking at everybody. They're investigating the medical staff, those paramedic guys, the person that's, the doctor specifically. They're looking at everybody. Everybody's being looked at. So we shall see.
My fourth question to him was, are you trying to tell me that at that moment, that is before transferring the lifeless body of Shanquella Robinson, you had no proof that she had been murdered? And he replied that indeed, at that time, there was no evidence.
Me dijo que para que la Procuraduría de Justicia pudiera detener a una persona, necesitaban abrir una investigación, recolectar evidencias, pruebas, de un probable delito y entregar toda esa información a un juez para que entonces solicitara la orden de aprehensión.
He told me that in order for the Attorney General's office to arrest a person, he needed to open an investigation, collect evidence and probable cause of a crime. A case would be opened and all the information delivered to a judge so that he could then request the arrest warrant.
That is their process. Shout out to Vic, who says the Washington Post has an article on Daniel de la Rosa, Anaya, regarding this case. Yeah, he's a state prosecutor. Thank you. No, you're fine, Infamous. You don't need to apologize. Don't apologize. The U.S. will hold the killer just to make a bargain. Damn straight, they should look into all of them. Think a tad of patience. Keep it on. We'll be at Christopher. I think it's just gonna take some time. It's going to take some time. We just the poll is up there, and I got to look into see kind of where everybody lands at this point. But it's going to take some time as far as things are going. I don't think we have an answer to anything quite yet.
Y bueno, es justamente lo que el juez hizo el 21 de noviembre del 2022 cuando solicitó la detención con fines de extradición de alegadamente Danae Jackson.
And that's exactly what the judge did on November 21st, 2022, when he requested the arrest for extradition purposes of Dejanay Jackson.
So now he's saying, this is just a tune, right? Just keeping that in mind. He's saying that, and that is exactly what the judge did when he requested the arrest for extradition purposes. So I think that, in my opinion, solidifies the fact that there has been no arrest on anybody. You know, we were going back and forth debating like the internet, like how we do on the internet. We go back and forth. Was there an arrest? Was there no arrest? Yes, no, yes. You know, we were kind of going back and forth. Some of you guys were like, I'm done, I quit, you know, and I was feeling the same way too. I was a little exhausted by going back and forth. And it's a little bit like discouraging, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're trying to like seek facts in terms of a case. We know this much, okay, based on what the Attorney General is saying. He's saying that he did his part. Okay? This is a collaborative effort. Investigations and international investigations are collaborative. Period. Thank you so much, Miss Leslie. Aw. So $20. Thank you so much for your work, Rabbit. We love you. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate you. It's a collaborative work. And it's a sticky situation because it crosses borders. You're right on the money, Vic. Right on the money. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know. Thank you. I'll check out the email. Yeah. Thank you so much, Miss Leslie. We want things to happen quick. It's just going to take some time. Okay. And I think that we have to be very patient and understanding. I also think that we have to listen to, I think Gerardo's bringing some really good sources as well. Although I don't always agree with all of them and I don't necessarily agree with everything. But the man has his own YouTube channel, so he can do what he wants on his YouTube channel, you know? Yeah, says Patty, yep, it was rumored that she was arrested over Thanksgiving. I remember it. Yeah. Yeah. But nothing came about it. So it was just a rumor. It was just a rumor. I don't know, but let's keep watching.
En términos generales, eso fue lo que respondió en la primera parte de esta entrevista en exclusiva. Esté muy pendiente de nuestro canal, comparta esta entrevista en sus redes sociales, con sus familiares y amigos para llegar a la mayor gente posible. Invítelos a suscribirse a nuestro...
So, he's just ending that piece All right. So they did. I think that the subtitles, which by the way, I hope if they're listening, Liz or Gerardo, if you guys are listening, if you guys can upload just the interview, and that way you can have the subtitle on by itself without the interpreter, it might be helpful. Just this specific interview, because it kind of helps with that situation. For some of us, I just want to break down the interview a little bit more. They're going to be doing it in 3 parts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I want you guys to remember something before. Look, remember
Injury that
this.
she died because
This
of
is
this.
what
Despite
we watched
she
this
was
morning. Yeah, Vic, there has not been an arrest. So that's what was released by Gerardo. And he's doubling, he's saying that it has. I don't know. We haven't seen anything. People are going back and forth. I'd like to see if the family is watching, if they're able to, if they have heard this interview. I really hope that they do hear it. It's been a little bit of in my opinion, within the bloggers, and I hate to say it this way, there's been some contention, you know, for a lot of reasons. And I kind of hope that we can drop that a little bit and get back to what we were doing. There's some people out here that disparage. You guys I already said they disparage the family. They drag the family. They dox the family. They put out PPP loan information of the family. They were just some disgusting, disgusting BS that they did for clicks and views. They were saying that the Cabo 6 had been set up. Anything for a click and view. Anything, right? This is why I have the support that I have. I don't have to do that to people. I don't have to hurt people that way. I don't have to do that. I don't have to get in my ego or my feelings or anything like that. I could just come here and talk about what's being reported. If there's speculation, I can talk about it. But I don't have to hurt anybody, especially a grieving family, especially during and after Christmas Eve. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. Shame on those people that did that. Yeah, thank you, Vic. I still remember. Like, it's ridiculous. And then that people now want to come back and say, well, I apologize. No, what? During Christmas Eve, you hurt this family. Thank God I don't have to be that evil, that insensitive. Thank God I don't have to do that. Yeah. Her family already said that. They haven't been informed of anything. So there's still, I don't know what to make of that. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that girl Winter went to the police and the post to the social media that her and someone else was going to talk and the truth was going to be out. Rico, do you have any screenshots of that post? Let me know because I would love for you to email me that because I haven't seen anything like that. And I'd like to see that if that's the case. But watch this, okay? This is the FBI. Could they be dragging their feet? Listen to this. This just dropped on the 14th, okay? After the conference. This is Lawrence Jones with Fox News. This is not aired out on YouTube. I don't think I've seen it out yet, but this is just if you watch Fox News, and shout out to the subby that sent this to me on Facebook, gave me the heads up about this. This is a reason I think it's important that North Carolina has their independent investigation as it pertains to Shanquella Robinson. Could this be a reason why maybe they're dragging? Maybe there's more to this that we just don't know and why they're dragging their feet. Okay, but let's watch.
she was overdosed or was drunk. Yeah. But then the autopsy comes back where there was some spinal injury that she died because of this fight where they just brutally beat this girl to death. What do you know about this case?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of speculation online. I think the salient point to make at this point is that the Charlotte field office of the FBI has opened a case, and this is the key. They very pointedly said, our investigation is distinct and separate from the Mexican investigation. And the Mexican authorities have already issued an arrest warrant, and they say they're going to pursue extradition. I'm not sure, it's not visible that they've actually done that. But the Bureau is doing their own thing. That tells me that they want to keep their investigation sort of in the silo of federal procedure in America, and I think they're going to build their case here. It's just a lot simpler.
Would it be a lot simpler for the U.S. to build their case here? $1 million question. Avoidable Owl says, shout out to you. Hurt people hurt other people. I don't know. I'm going to tell you this, okay? If my sibling died in such a horrible way and it came up on YouTube and you had some nasty low-down blogger drag me, okay, or drag my sister, or dox PPP loans, or try to say that I celebrated their death, or try to say that I never took flowers to my sister, okay, or try to insinuate that I'm happy that she died, or even try to insinuate that somehow I've got a BBL and that this money that I've saved up and earned, okay, these are bloggers that have said this shit about the family. It goes beyond hurt people hurt other people. I say F that. I say, you know what? You deserve to get sued. And then maybe an apology might be warranted after your lawsuit. I hope they sue the shit out of you. I really do. Don't ever, don't ever think, because let me tell you, I'm a blogger too. And I don't ever have to take it there with people. I don't ever have to drag people like that. Ever. I don't have to do that. Not for clicks and views, not for my video to go viral, not for any of that bullshit. Nope. Sorry. And this is coming from somebody who's worked with hurt people. Hurt people can hurt people. You're absolutely right. But that doesn't give you the permission to allow to drag them, to defame them. They need to be sued. And I hope they do it. With that money that they've been, going up on that GoFundMe, I hope they sue every mother effer that did that. Period, point blank. And if Miss Quilla Long needs any help with that, you let me know, Miss Quilla Long. We can make it happen. Sue the shit out of these people, okay? Because let me tell you, you can go and private every video, including the thumbnails that made Shanquella look orange, including those videos that defamed the mother, the father, the siblings, every one of those videos. You sue them and double that. Bullshit. Hurt people, absolutely. But I am in charge. I'm the owner of that pain. I can decide what I want to do with it. Doesn't mean it doesn't allow me to unleash it to other people. No. No. People need to take accountability for the bullshit that they do online. No one's above it, even myself. Period. I would be striking. I would be going after YouTube too. Period. This shit is not funny. It's gotten out of hand. Period. I'm not responsible for anybody's mental health on this internet. I'm very careful and I'm mindful of what I say, but you don't see me dragging or doxing or saying PPP loans. And she went to go get a BBL and she's not happy that her sister died. And look at the gravesite. There's no flowers and the flowers are dead. Look at this. Is that a sister that's happy? She looks like she's happy that she died because now she can live her life. No, fuck that. Mm-mm. Thank you. Thank you, Tata. I would. Unapologetically, I would. Let's finish this video. All right.
And remember something, they do have jurisdiction. There's this misconception that the Bureau doesn't have jurisdiction overseas on a case like this. Killing of an American national by another American national overseas, as long as the Attorney General approves it, they can prosecute that. And this would be murder one, potentially, and that's a death penalty case.
And they tried to conceal it as well. Paul, hopefully the family member will reach out. We would love to talk with them, any of the investigation. We'll be following this. Paul Morrow has been excellent on all these stories. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
So to Fox News Alert.
So, jurisdiction, Paul gave us a little insight in there. I thought that was kind of helpful. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So, I mean, could the U.S. come? Maybe they're building their case. We never know. We never know, right? Could be building their they could be doing a bunch of things. They really could be. We don't know, and they've been very tight-lipped about it. I think it was great that Gerardo brought the attorney. I think that I'm excited to see the next two parts. I like to see what those questions are going to look like. I hope that he keeps it going. North Carolina, keep the receipts and sue them all. Period. Point blank. Keep the receipts and sue them all. They are tragedy pimps. Yep. Period. Yeah. So and I'm avoidable owl. Shout out to you. I know you didn't mean anything, but I just think that it's time to hold some people accountable as far as when they say things like, well, hurt people hurt people. I've heard that before. Yes, I agree with it. I do. You know, I've been hurt and I've hurt others, but I'm also accountable to that as well. And when you come over here and you unleash that kind of evil, that's a whole different level. Like you don't that's not even excusable. And not only does it warrant an apology, it warrants monetary gain from that period. Period. Absolutely. Thank you. But anyways, guys, I wanted to bring that to you. Shout out to everybody in the chat and all of our wonderful members. This social media does get out of control. It absolutely does. We'll be live tomorrow. We'll bring up some other stuff and get into some other ish that we need to. I want to remind everybody, okay, keep this in mind when this becomes too much. Remember this.
Time to put that phone down. Time to put that phone down.
Absolutely. Things to do is be hopeful that there is cooperation between Mexico and the U.S. This is going to take time, guys. Keep that family in your prayer. That family needs advocates. If the family is watching, shout out to you guys. You guys keep fighting. We're fighting for you here on these social media streets. Shout out to all of them. And thank you so much. Absolutely. People need to be accountable, and there are consequences for their actions, period. Thank you. Thank you. And I have to let you guys go because I got baby Bunny and she's a baby stalker looking at me like, Mom, I'm ready for you. Get off here. And I got to go tend to her. You guys have a great rest of your night because the rabbits are out.